On Monday, we closed out the Cardinals season with our final interview of the season with Jonathan Gannon. We have him on every single Monday here on the Burns and Gambo Show, and we thank him for coming on every single week to talk about the game that had happened. It was a lot of season in review stuff. You asked him the question about Kyler Murray and whether he was going to be the quarterback next year, and he said 100% he's going to be our guy, which is not a huge surprise. But then you followed up with a question about bringing in a veteran quarterback to challenge Kyler. And here's what Jonathan Gannon said about that.
Yeah, I don't know that. I feel good about where Clayton's at, where I know he didn't get to play a lot in games this year, but I thought his development this year has been really good. And we're always going to do what's best for the team. I mean, that's, from top down. But there's no doubt in my mind he can get us to where we want to go.
But again, he just reiterated there, 100% is what he said about Kyler Murray. There was a story this morning, and I think it was the Palm Beach Post,
talking about the Miami situation,
in which it's like the number one priority for them. Now they're in a much different boat than the Cardinals are. I think most football fans can see why. Tua gets hurt a lot. He doesn't finish a lot of seasons. He doesn't play. So for them, a backup quarterback is of supreme importance, and I can understand that. It's different for the Cardinals, but it's kind of the same. There's a lot of conversation here about whether they need a better backup to protect themselves for either a Kyler injury or a Kyler subpar performance, and they feel like they need to make a change at some point.
Yeah, the 10 free agent backups they mentioned for Miami, and I thought it was somewhat similar to Arizona because I think you're basically pulling from the same pool of players. Yeah. Andy Dalton, who's 37 years old, Justin Fields, who's 25, Mac Jones, who's 26, Jimmy Garoppolo, 33 years old, Marcus Mariota, 31 years old, Zach Wilson, who's 25, Jameis Winston, I know you're intrigued by him, Drew Lock, 28 years old.
He just makes me laugh. I don't know if I'm intrigued by him. He just amuses me.
Trey Lance, Cooper Rush. That's the players that they mentioned who could be options. I mean, there's different levels of veteran. Trey Lance is not that much of a veteran in this league.
No.
Zach Wilson is not that much of a veteran in this league. But Marcus Mariota is, and Jameis Winston is, and Jimmy Garoppolo is, so that Andy Dalton is. So there are a number of veteran quarterbacks. And again, if you've got to go to that guy, your team's probably in a whole load of trouble. It could be because, but, we always say, so here's how I would look at it.
Okay.
I think you want a quarterback that if your starter's going to miss 3 games because of an injury, that guy can help you go 2-1. If we think the Cardinals need to win 9 or 10 games next year, what you want to protect yourself from is Kyler gets injured. He's going to miss 3 games. I don't need a quarterback coming in and going 0-3 in those games, and there goes my playoff hopes. So can I get a veteran quarterback that can run an offense, not make the mistakes, give me a chance to be competitive and win these football games? The Colt McCoy type.
Yeah.
That type of guy. You bring him in, he's going to give you a shot to win the game because he's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. That's what I think they need. This is nothing against Clayton Tune. He just doesn't have the experience to be able to win. I'm not looking at Kyler Murray's lost for the season. Then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And all of these backups, if you played them for 16 games, they'll be exposed for what they are. But if you only have to play them in a short sample size for 2 or 3 weeks, that guy might be able to help you remain competitive.
Yeah, and look, I agree with everything that you said because in my mind I'm trying to think, okay, what's the end game here with bringing in a different backup quarterback? And I think you nailed it on the head. I think the end game is you want a better insurance policy, and nothing against Clayton Tune, but I think they can do better than Clayton Tune as an insurance policy. Are you bringing somebody in to challenge Kyler Murray? No, Kyler Murray's going to be the quarterback next year. He's we might have low expectations for that, but I think Kyler Murray is going to be the quarterback next year and going to be given mostly because of his salary and mostly because of the financial commitment they've made to him and because he played well enough this year that they're certainly going to say, okay, you're the guy, go ahead, let's see what you got. You're not bringing somebody in that you're going to bench Kyler Murray for in the middle of November if Kyler Murray isn't playing well. I don't think that's what your end game is.
Right.
I don't think your end game is to, maybe you want to bring somebody in who's more of a veteran to be like a sounding board in the room. But Kyler Murray's going into his 7th year in the NFL. I don't think Kyler Murray needs a Colt McCoy type to be the veteran in the room to kind of make the room better. I think Kyler's been around long enough. He understands a quarterback room and how to work. You summed it up exactly perfectly. They need a backup quarterback so that if Kyler Murray has to miss a few games next year, you have a decent chance of winning at least half of those games while he's gone. I think that's a needed upgrade on this team from Clayton Tune. I just don't think he's that guy.
Let's be honest. Sam Darnold, the great story with Sam Darnold was possible because they were going to start a rookie quarterback in J.J. McCarthy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like Sam Darnold went to go back up Patrick Mahomes. It wasn't like Sam Darnold went to go back up Josh Allen. Sam Darnold went to a situation, it worked out as best it could, and now he's going to end up really cashing in on it and played well. He may have never been able to showcase himself if it wasn't for the fact that he went to a perfect situation like that with a rookie quarterback.
No, but it is interesting, too. And it's interesting because Daniel Jones chose to go to the Minnesota Vikings. It is interesting to see quarterbacks that are thought to be kind of washed up and toast and done go to a place like Minnesota with really good coaching and a really good coach in an effort to find the fountain of youth for their game, to kind of read it. Hey, coach, make my game better. Hey, coach, do for me where did Sam Darnold bounce around between? He was with the Jets.
49ers.
He was with Carolina. He was the 49ers for like a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
For the most part, Sam Darnold's been with some pretty bad organizations. Daniel Jones was with some pretty bad organizations. I find it interesting that both of those guys went there. Sam Darnold got fixed. Daniel Jones probably looked at Sam Darnold
Baker Mayfield?
Do that for me. Baker Mayfield, perfect example.
Carolina?
Yeah, Carolina. He was
bad organization.
Bad organization. The Browns, bad organization. He did everything he could to lift that organization above that by taking them to the playoffs. He goes to a stable place in Tampa Bay with some good coaching, and he plays well. Baker Mayfield's a very good quarter. You could do a whole hell of a lot worse in this league than Baker Mayfield as your quarterback. I just wonder, I guess this is a long-winded way of saying, like, sometimes I do wonder what a different quarterback in this system could do. You know, like what would a Sam Darnold do with the Arizona Cardinals? I don't know. What would a Baker Mayfield do with the Arizona? I have no idea, and there's no way to find that out. But sometimes my imagination with Drew Petzing's offense and how innovative he is and how creative it tries to be, I do want, how different would Marvin Harrison Jr. look if he had a Sam Darnold throwing to, I don't know.
Not Joshua Dobbs.
No, not him.
Not Clayton Tune.
An upgrade from that, somewhere more in the middle. And again, it's an itch that's not going to get scratched. But when my imagination's running wild, sometimes I wonder what that type of Sam Darnold quarterback would look like in this system throwing to these guys.
It's not like the Cardinals haven't in the past. Look, at one time the Cardinals went out and brought in Boomer Esiason.
That was a long time ago.
Right, but okay, let's try to catch lightning in a bottle. Now, Kurt Warner worked out. Boomer Esiason had that one great game against Washington, I believe.
Carson Palmer worked out. He was
Carson Palmer worked out.
Kind of washed.
Yeah.
He super rejuvenated his career. Carson Palmer's almost a perfect example.
He is.
Hey, come here. We'll coach you up real good. And Bruce Arians coached him up real good.
Right. So sometimes it really does come down to the situation.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.